Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, man. It's the official Hoop Talk the podcast. No more special shows, no more side quests. We are back, season 3 of Hoop Talk the podcast. This is episode 1. We're not live this time. We did say last year we were gonna attempt that, but that did not work out. But for those of you who are new, man, it's the same gang as usual. You're gonna get to know us. It's your boy Hoop Talk Nas. Wherever you see him on your screen, you got Pluto with the tan hat, and then you got Hoop Talk Tyler at the bottom with the green shirt. I don't know if you're gonna see them in the same spot that I
That's
see them,
right. That's
so I'm just gonna
facts.
let you
Bring
figure
back
that
Ty
out.
Dollar Sign.
It's
Bring
factual.
back Ty Dollar Sign.
AKA Hoop Talk Chris. If you know, you know. All right, but
Yeah.
let's
What
let's get right into it,
what
man.
the
The first thing I
fuck?
want to start off with, man, is a the first thing I want to start off with after our short little introduction is a little bit of of an update of how things are going to go going forward, so you guys are not confused. Obviously, as you know, the NBA season is not starting anytime soon, so you might be wondering what the hell are these guys going to talk about. Well, guess what? Not the NBA. Could you put two and two together there? I don't know. From now on, the Hoop Talk podcast has decided to put a larger emphasis on the local happenings of basketball as we grow and as we continue to improve. That local aspect will be bigger. You know, what we will consider local will expand. But for right now, we are primarily tailoring to our Central Florida area with the occasional expansion to other areas in Florida that we might hear about, that we might find out about on social media or through word of mouth, whatever the case is. But as of right now, we're going to give a spotlight to the Central Florida hoops community that we've been working with over the last 2 or 3 years, that we've been helping grow and that have helped us grow. Whether that's the GM5, whether that's the Oxley, the FBA, the ABA, whatever happenings are in the basketball community that we're in, from this point on, that is going to be the emphasis of our podcast. We're going to incorporate NBA topics, of course, because it's basketball at the end of the day. This is a basketball podcast, and some crazy shit is going to happen in the NBA. That's for damn sure. So it's going to provoke a conversation. It's going to provoke a debate. But for right now, we are very, very focused on what is happening within our general population of basketball. And that's what you're going to hear. And that's what it's going to be like today. So without further ado, let's get right into it, man. The most prominent set of basketball we have right now, this is GM5. GM5 just started. The Ox League ended. So we're not going to talk about them until at least a couple weeks from now. The GM5 just started, week 1. A lot of great teams, a lot of great rosters, a lot of great talent. I'm going to hand it over to you guys. Before we get into the nitty gritty, what was your most exciting moment when you stepped into GM5? What did you see that was like, wow, this is going to be a year?
Bro, there's a lot that went on game one or day one. I mean, we saw a poster, which I don't recall seeing a poster at all last season. I'm pretty sure that this is the first time we've seen that in a little while. Tons of blocks, tons of shots, a lot of finesse moves. I think my favorite one was that raw dunk. Absolutely, I think it was Berto that had passed into it. He had a clear lane for the dunk. Beans actually jumped for it. You just barely see him. He did jump, and I thought that was the most exciting moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shout out Volusia County. I think that Blake Henson alley oop was. I mean, we all saw it coming, but it's still dope to see it. And obviously, the dunk that no one will get to see, the windmill. That was pretty dope. And that Luke Doyle pass, off the first nail going into the free throw line, like cross court pass. Like that was pretty dope in one hand. But one of my favorite things, I think everybody came fresh to death the first day. Everybody had their best on, and I had told Tyler that on the sideline, like, "Yo, everybody in the media side of things, we all look good today." So that was I think that was also pretty dope that we took it like an opening day to a big league, which it is a big league. So that's my favorite things.
I have a broader answer. I don't have a specific answer because I want to get into the specific stuff as we discuss throughout the happenings of GM5. But my broad answer is I just enjoyed the talent that some teams brought to the table. I like how things switched up a little bit. A lot of teams were not able to return for this season of the GM5. A lot of teams were able to take those spots. And there's a lot of talented crews out there, man, and that's really what was the most exciting when I noticed those first two games. I'd say were the most prominent when it comes to just teams really making the adjustments needed to compete for a championship this year. And that's what got me the most excited, man. It's gonna be one hell of a season. And shout out to the GM5, man. Y'all gonna be our main topic of discussion for a while. Not a lot is gonna be happening in this basketball community for a couple months. So you guys, man, bring the highlights. Bring more of those posters. Let's get Luke somehow break that record, man. Because we're gonna talk about that in a second.
Yeah, one thing really quick.
But let's break down.
Come to the camera. You guys see the camera. We don't care if you talk with it. We don't care if you interact with it. Don't hit it or anything. But hey, if you got something to say, you just had a nice dunk or something. Like we got the camera in there for a reason. Create something for yourselves. We love stories. I love people that talk shit. I love that.
Same.
Listen,
Same.
that was for you, Phil. Do not hit the camera. All right. I've had some run-ins with Phil and the camera in the past, so hopefully he's able to keep his composure this time around. But I'm actually gonna try and set up a mic near the camera. I have to figure out how exactly that's gonna work, but I am trying to do that some way or another to where players can come up to the camera and speak, and it will capture their voice as clearly as it possibly can. But no promises. We'll see if we can do it for week 2, maybe week 3. So yeah, I agree with Tyler. Do not be shy. Come talk to the camera. Come talk some shit, man. It makes for good content. But let's get right into it, man. Week 1 of GM5 season opener. We had 4 games. We had 9 teams. One team will always get a bye. 4 games, 8 teams active in action. First game up was the reinvented Team Swift, a collaboration between Lou and Djax, now called Team Prey, ladies and gentlemen, facing off against the new and improved Park Legends. New logo, new team members, all that stuff.
Same
Who wants to
jersey.
start it off, man? What did you like most about this game? What do you want to bring to the spotlight about Park Legends versus Team Prey?
You can go first.
Just yeah. I was about to say, I gotta shout out the rookies. The rookies stole the show this game. A couple new players, couple older players. Christian Sari definitely stole some of that sunlight today. Um, on Team Prey, I don't know. On Team Prey, they had a couple players that played really good defense on players that were smaller than them. They had a couple players that we didn't even know could shoot threes and were shooting threes this last game on Team Prey. So it was a pretty even matchup, even with the size discrepancy, because Team Prey is probably one of the biggest teams in this league right now. So I think a lot of their offense is going to come off pace and post ups and just being able to attack. But all in all, I think the first game of the season was pretty even matchup. You have Sean Sukup, who is what Sean does every game, which is mitigate the offense, make sure everybody touches the ball, make sure it's a clean, offensive game. And the only thing that I was surprised is a very, very, very quiet game for Dominic Douglas. And I kind of talked to him on the sideline. I told him, "Is there anything I should be worried about? Are you hurt?" He's like, "I just wanted everybody to touch the ball and get involved." And I don't think he's had another person like Sorry last year who can really light it up like him. So I think that that's going to be a
Hey,
dynamic duo on come up.
wait. You didn't think Dom wait. You didn't think he had
But
another pairing that lights it up like Christian Sorry? You forgot about
I
Aaron?
think Sorry is going to be dope.
You
I think
forgot about
Sorry is
Aaron
going to
Fair?
be It's different. Sari's got more of that like 3 ball game and more of a shooting game than Aaron Fair. I think Aaron Fair was more get to the basket. He was more of a 3 level scorer. I think Sari literally is a 3 and get to the basket player, which is going to pair dope with Dom, who is a mid range assassin. You know, I think that pairing is going to be pretty dope. And you got Suko, and you got another guy on the team who's a pretty good passer off the post. I just think it looks good. It's going to be a pretty good looking offense once if it comes together the right way.
No, I like that team though. I was just saying that forget
Yeah.
about Aaron was kind of crazy, but that
Yeah.
that that team did look really good. I really like Team Prey though. When we talked about them a lot when we were recording, like the change from Team Swift to Team Prey, I think was a great move, and it looks like they took a lot more control out of it. They had like Daniel Moore, who we were talking about a lot when we were recording, who is like he was realistically the center for OJR after Maine left, and now he doesn't have to play that role. He gets to play the four because you have like Brandon White who can play that center position. But he's big. He can body you up inside, but he can also stretch the floor. I think that pairing of Brandon White, you got Lou, you got Daniel Moore, you got Jeff Jean, you have a ton of weapons around Ladarius Lee and then Djax. I think that team's gonna be really scary. They were my pick. I think if they can figure it out, if they can get everything together, I think they go to the finals. That's what I think.
Yeah, it was only a 1 point game, and at the end of the day, Park Legends also did a phenomenal job of revamping. That's Park Time is what I'm going to call them from now on. That's a fusion of Game Time and Park Legends, and who knows what the free agency comes holds for them. They might even find themselves some new Game Time players to join. But actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think Aaron was supposed to be on that roster when the first came out. Yeah, and then it turns out he wasn't able to participate in GM5 this season for some reason. So they really were going full Game Time / Park Legends for that
I remember they
for that
talked about
roster.
the
So
incident where Aaron's not. Well, I
I
guess
think.
we're not allowed to go into it, but there were some
Oh, did they?
reports that we saw. Can't really touch on that too much right just yet.
Oh, I don't. I'm not sure what he's talking about. I'm completely lost. But we'll get to that at some point, I guess. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think
hope
it
so.
was a 1 point game. They held a team that on paper looks phenomenal to a 1 point game. So who knows what they're going to be able to do against other teams throughout the season. Because they lost, of course, I don't know if I'm prepared to say they're my finals favorite, but the team that is my finals favorite also lost. So I'm not changing my mind about them. But we'll see when the season goes on. I think for that game, though, in general, of course, being a Serpents, what's the word? What's the word?
Stan,
Alumni. Being a Serpents alumni, I was very happy for Christian Sari to show up in GN5 and for people to see what he's capable of. I think a lot of people in other leagues have been surprised by him over and over again. I think he's just now, maybe within the last year, maybe two, has been now getting into leagues in the area and expanding outside of his Volusia County area. And a lot of people are starting to get to know him for the first time and see what he's capable of. But I mean, I said it the moment he stepped on the court. I said it like that's a shooter. That man can shoot with the best of them. And depending on how everybody else's season goes, right? Depending on how everybody's fluctuation is with their consistency, there's nothing stopping Christian from being a top three, top five shooter in this league. There's nothing at all. Um, and then that's his game. That's his primary source of offense. He's trying to shoot everything. He's trying to shoot that mid range. He's trying to shoot that 3 pointer, and he gets in transition. So I'm excited to see what Christian brings to the table, and I'm excited to see what Nick Wallery uh, role is going to be this season. That's going to be the most interesting part about him. I think with the ball needing to find Sean very frequently, just because that's how they play. Um, I don't know if you can force Dom and Shane to play out of that comfort zone because then they're not playing at their best. You know what I mean? So one of two things is going to have to happen. Either Nick's going to have to accept that his low post scoring isn't going to be the main source of success for them, um, or they do continue to make that the main source of success because, I mean, in a sense, that's his team. In a sense, that he's the star of Park Legends. And now it's a conversation of is Dom coming here to be the number two for Nick Wallery, or is he coming here to take over and Nick Wallery's gonna have to take a step back? That's the question I'm excited to see about Park Legends for the rest of the season.
why not both?
I know TP, huh?
Why not a mix of both? Like kind of not exactly, but kind of like an Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle type of situation, where you have somebody who's very strong creating out of the post, who's going to body you up, but they do have facilitation skills, and then you have Dom who can kind of do it all. He can also be fed off the ball as well, pretty well, I think.
I don't know. To me, it's I've never seen. And you listen, they're gonna watch this and they're gonna correct me if I'm wrong. So feel free to leave it in the comment section if what I'm about to say is an incorrect statement. But from my personal experience in the leagues that I've been able to witness Dom Douglas play, I've never not seen him be the most dominant scorer on his team. There's never been a situation where that's been the case. Um, Even on the Florida flight, he was with playing with a guy like Tyler Rodriguez. He's still going out there and averaging his 25 plus, getting his 30-point games. You know, game time, Winter Park Storm, whatever team I've ever witnessed Dom Douglas playing, I just don't know if there's a real reason to take a step down. You know
Are
what
you
I
saying
mean?
he's not
That's
willing?
no offense to Nick. No, I'm saying there's no reason to. I'm saying
Okay.
he should not be willing. I guess that's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Okay.
He should not
Yeah,
be
me
willing
too.
to. It's like this is what wins me trophies. Go look at my
Yeah.
trophy case. You know what I mean? This is why I got the gold medals. This is why I got the rec league trophies. This is why I went to the finals last year. This is why I won a championship this year, that year, the other. You know what I mean? Like he has the resume, he has the bite to back up the bark. So why would I step in here and say, okay, don't worry, I'll play my place. I'll stay in my lane and make sure Nick is still out there getting his touches, doing what he's got to do. Why would he? That's a real question. That's not a rhetorical question. Why would he?
Exactly. I don't know why you would. And it looks like that might be what TP was thinking. Possibly, we did see, and we don't know exactly why, but Nick came off the bench. He didn't start that game, and we weren't really too sure why. We were asking ourselves, but there's a possibility that maybe TP does see that as a move. Starting Dom. Kind of like a youth movement. I don't know. There may be
You know what I would
reports
compare it to?
that people were upset in
Go
the
ahead.
Park Legends locker room of their playing time or not being able to start. I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know, but there may have been whispers.
That man's trying to
I
stir
would
the
I
pot.
would say
Listen, you know what I would compare it to before you go? I would compare it to like Kevin Durant coming to the Suns, right? It's like it's not the same dynamic because Nick Wallery technically is the veteran in this situation. But I would compare when it comes to play styles, when it comes to talent levels, I would compare it to that. It's like Kevin Durant comes to the Suns, and you have this idea that it's Devin Booker's team, but why would Kevin Durant take a step back, right? I'm Kevin Durant at the end of the day. I am him. I am who I am. Why would I choose to take less shots? Why would I want to average less points? Because it's this kid's team. You know what I mean? And we talked about that a lot last year about that dynamic. Like, who is the best player on this team? Is Devin Booker still the best player on this team? Because Kevin Durant's putting up numbers, if not equal, better than him. You know what I mean? So, who is the best player on this team? So it becomes that dynamic. Can Dom even play at a level where he would not be looked as the best player on the team? Can he do that? I don't think he can.
But
I don't think he can. He probably tried really hard with Tyler on the flight and was out there just seamlessly dropping 30. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm trying, bro. But the shots just keep coming to me.
just
The
keep
shots
falling.
just
I
keep
can't
coming
stop
to me.
hitting
You know what
them.
I mean?
Let me say one thing though.
Yeah, man.
You're
Oh,
saying
lost it.
this
Keep
might be a
going.
Phoenix Suns situation. What's stopping this from being a Warriors situation though? Where it does work out, where Kevin Durant does come to a team with Steph Curry and they figure it out and they win championships together. What's stopping that?
No, you're right. You are completely right. The only thing that's keeping me from understanding how that dynamic could work is essentially just I'm not super familiar with Nick Wallery's overall mindset of the situation. I know he's 100% a cocky player. That I do know. I've met him in person. He's helped me out with training for the Serpents a couple times. He's been there at the gym and he helped me out. So I know him. I've talked to him, and I know he's a cocky motherfucker. Rightfully so. He has a great professional career that he can stand on. He, everywhere he goes, he's a bucket. He's unstoppable. And we saw him in the GM5 last year. That low post game was impossible to stop. So he also has the bite to back up the bark. So I don't know him enough in the grand scheme of things. So that might be where my take is coming from. So I could take that. That's a possibility. But as of right now, based on what I do know, and I'll educate myself as the season goes on, based on what I do know, why would Dom choose to be a lesser player on this team? I think the 10 points were accidental. You know what I mean? Like he was doing his thing. He was trying to like Orlando said, he was trying to get everybody involved or get everybody their touches. Well, guess what, Dom? You almost lost the game. So fuck everybody's touches. Take the fucking shot and win them games by 10 to 20 points like you've been doing on game time. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna go to the line, you're gonna get fouled, you're gonna get hit threes, you're gonna hit the mid range, you're gonna hit the tough shots. Like what are we talking about? Fuck everybody else's touches. Just pass it to Christian and that's it. That's all you need to do. Pass it to Christian and move on.
dynamic duo.
What do you think, Pluto? What do you think?
Within that whole conversation, I just think Nick might have to. He's a vet in this league. At the end of the day, when it comes to how old he is, I think picking his spots, because regardless or not, 14 weeks is a lot. On someone who's older. I don't know his exact age, but I'm pretty sure he's in his 40s, if not late 30s. So I think
Yeah, Nick
him
about
picking.
55 years old.
There you go. Him picking
I'm
his.
kidding. He's not.
But him picking his spots is like super important. So I think he should be looking at Dom as a relief or being a relief for Dom, where he can come into games, give you a solid 15 to 10 minutes and give you at least 10 points. I know he didn't get on the scoreboard last game, but at the end of the day, I think he can be a solid six man if you really put his mind to it. And still get more accolades, still get the play time, and also to pick his poison. You're not playing the starting center no more, and you're a starting center in this league or a starting power forward. Eat, take advantage of that situation. And if we do need you to start again, you start again with Dom. But when we look at the bigger picture, they have two big guys who like to pass the ball out the paint. You got a bunch of shooters setting each other screens and stuff. He just doesn't fit in that style. He's more of a, like the way the situation I look at is Carmelo Anthony on the Houston Rockets. He's someone who needs to touch the ball, get it in the mid post, and create for himself. And then you got all these guys who want to shoot threes. It just doesn't work for him, and I think that's why he ended up coming off the bench. They just need to build an offense off the bench for him. I don't really see coaches do that unless you're freaking Jamal Crawford or Lou Will. But I think he can really do his thing off the bench and see a lot of fruits there.
I don't think he came off the bench like as a game plan though. Personally, I think he'll be back in the starting lineup next week, or this week actually. But I mean that's yet to be observed. I guess real time though, the stats have been updated for 3 out of the 4 games. So just so you guys know, if you have anything in your background you can use, feel free to check that out. But NWO versus Count Up is the only game that they're working on. But that should be done by before we're even done podcasting. So, but that's all I personally had to say about that game. A lot of emphasis on Park Legends there. That's what happens when you lose a game. If you do look at the stats, though, Team Parade definitely has to do better. Team Parade definitely does have to do better. Me and Tyler were talking about it before we hopped on the podcast. Before they finished the stats, it only showed no players with 10 or more points. After they've completed the stats, it now shows only 2 players with at least 10 points. And one of those players has exactly 10 points. So uh, I think they do need to do better. I think the roster on paper looks good. I believe they have to show us that, though. They have to show us that they're good. They have to show us that they can compete. On paper, they do look great. We talked about Ladarius Lee coming off the bench, Danny Moore coming off the bench. That is a really good 2 pieces right there off the bench by itself. Um, Adding that Andrew Groningen, which maybe hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but adding Andrew Groningen, for example, that's a really good pickup for them. He went 4 for 4 from three, so they have the pieces, they have the talent, they have the ability. Djax being one of the best point guards in the league last year can still be that this year. Jeff Jean, we raved about him last year. Phenomenal scoring option for them. They have the talent, but I would say Game One was not a phenomenal exhibition of what that talent led us to believe.
Yeah, they need to. I think the issue with Team Prey is they have a lot of size, but maybe some different roster construction. Maybe Brandon White doesn't start. Maybe you do start Daniel Moore at the 5. And maybe you kind of play around with that a little bit. But some slight changes here and there, some slight tinkering. It was also Game 1. So I don't have to be too reactionary.
Yeah, exactly.
However, what I will say is I do think that they do end up in the finals. I think that's fair.
That is extremely reactionary, I would say. That's extremely reactionary. But I guess we can move on to the next game. We have game 2 of the night or the morning actually. Is the New West Orlando, aka NWO versus Count Up. NWO is a product of Coach Berger. He's decided to assemble his own team this season. Last teams worldwide, which he was the head coach of, was led by PJ. It was PJ's team. He assembled that roster, or most of it. I'm sure there was some collaboration here and there. And this season, Berger decided to do his own thing, brought his NWO team that he has used in the past on other leagues. And I think, again, hit me up in the comment sections if I'm incorrect, but I believe NWO has been in the GM5 in previous years. I could be wrong, though. Hey, that's what the comment section is for. Let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong. But they brought back AJ Williams, obviously, the stud from last season. They made a lot of rumblings by taking Rod Lawrence away from OTB, who, if I'm not mistaken, is a player who tends to play with AJ often in other
Team
leagues. So
Squad
it looks like
X.
they tried to get that connection back together again. What happened?
They were in Squad X together, weren't they?
They were in Squad X to get. Were they? Was Rod
With
Squad
Melo
X?
too, right?
Yeah, yeah. Rod was Squad X. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah, they were on Squad X together, and if I'm not mistaken, they've played other places as well. But I won't go down the whole list, man. But great additions to this team. This team looks phenomenal. Beautiful jerseys. Let me put that out
Yeah.
there. Phenomenal, beautiful
Yeah.
jerseys. That was great, man. I don't know who designed that, man, but shout out to you. Hit me up, man. I need some Atlanta jerseys that I want to put a team together one day. So I need that type of creativity because I can't think that hard.
It was
But
done by
coming
their
up,
coach. It was done by their coach.
yeah,
He,
phenomenal, man. Phenomenal jerseys for sure. And then count up the Volusia County natives, led by Lito once again, coming back for another season. I believe this is only their second season. I'm pretty sure last year was their first in the GM5. And they got some phenomenal additions. They brought some Volusia County legends and Kevin Beans and Johnny Brown, who Kevin Beans was supposed to play for them last year. That's information that I got. But something happened. I didn't get that far in the conversation. Something happened that was not able to work out. So he got on count up this year with enough time in advance to work it out. He brought his boy Johnny Brown. I'm sorry, golly, Johnny Brown the third to be exact. Both Volusia County Serpents alumni as well led us to a finals appearance in 2023. So shout out to them for joining count up and another Serpents alumni officially. Blake Hinson has joined the count up team. If you guys don't know, man, look it up. I got no reason to explain who he is. Look it up, you'll find him. I can guarantee that much. But what do you guys think about that game? What were some ups and downs that you saw?
can I
Bro.
get the floor real quick, you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please. As Volusia County royalty, when it comes to basketball myself, I take what we put on the floor and the product we have very personal. We assembled some of the best players out of Volusia County, and we still come into these leagues and lose. I need you guys to do better. Every game, you can ask these two guys right here. I root for you guys. You guys have the perfect squad to make it to the finals. You have a 7-footer. You have another big man who comes off the bench, Mr. Brown, the guy that Nas mentioned, who's also pretty decent. You guys need to do better. Like offensively, these last two seasons, even the start of this one, it's just not good offense, and it's not very like seamless offense. It's very forced offense. The defense, I don't ever question defense. I know where I'm from. I know defense is a big thing, but that product we put on the floor with an NBA player, and we still lose. That's don't like it for us at all in Volusia County. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I think
Sorry, y'all.
I think that was kind of the issue with count up. I think they were offense has always kind of been their issue last season, so they were looking at how to figure out how to fit Blake in. Because I mean, he's this offensive weapon that they've never had. He's a 6'8" fucking shooter from anywhere. He could finish anything. But like defensively, I'm gonna give him a pass for one day. When we were talking about squads, I kind of forgot what like NWO put together. I completely forgot that we paired up not only AJ with Rod, which is like a ridiculous pairing as it is. You also have Tommy on that team, like that.
And Berto.
Team, yeah. I'm not even talking about Berto yet because he didn't come off or he didn't start. Berto's coming off the bench. He's your secret weapon off the bench. Their starting lineup is full of weapons already. Like they just kind of they got dealt a bad hand. I have to admit, like they that NWO team is the other team that's probably going to be in the finals. I would like to say
Yeah,
that count up is going to be there, but man, Blake is in the NBA. He could at any moment go to like training camp, and then we never get to see him again. I'm not going to bet on him
it's
being
actually
here,
happening.
but like NWO, bro, NWO is going to be here every single week, and those like clean ass jerseys. Bro, you're gonna have AJ and you're gonna have Rod that you have to deal with constantly, and then you're gonna have Tommy with a backward jersey. It's gonna be ridiculous.
That's his trademark, by the way. That is his trademark.
He took the
The
shiesty
backward
off this
jersey
season.
forever.
The backward jerseys and the on and off again hair. That's his trademark right there. But I agree with Tyler though. I would word it differently though from my perspective. Yeah, of course they were dealt a bad hand, but like coming into the situation, you couldn't say that
They were
NWO
gonna
was
win.
also dealt a bad hand, right? Because it's not like Count Up isn't a great roster. You know what I mean? Like adding Kevin Beans, adding Johnny. Some people made so the GM5 people are probably familiar with Kevin Beans by now because he played last year, and some people may not be too familiar with Johnny, but he's another great player. Played high level basketball in college. He's been looking for his opportunity in the basketball world. So and of course, they added fucking Blake Hinson. You know what I mean? So like, the NWO was dealt a bad hand. Right now, Blake did get a lot of calls that I did disagree with. Believe it or not, I typically am not really big on disagreeing with the referees that often. With one single player, but I was a little shocked with some of the travels and some of the offensive fouls he was called for. I think it was a bit of a I don't know, misguided decisions by the referee. But that could have played a role. At the end of the day, they did lose by double digits. I believe they lost by 15, if I'm not mistaken. I think I still have it up on the board.
I think so.
14 to be exact. That's a large deficit. So 3, 4, or 5 calls just is not enough to make up that type of deficit. You did a lot of things wrong yourself to make that deficit get that high. But I do agree with Tyler in the same sense that NWO is not some random team that got unlucky.
No, no,
They
there's
have fucking Rod, AJ, and Birdo. You know what I mean? We're talking
yeah,
about AJ, who has been MVP candidate in the FBA when he was there. We have Birdo, who was an MVP in his rookie season of the FBA. We have Rod, who's a fucking pro player. All three of them pro caliber players. All three of them have played professional basketball in different places around the world and played at a high level even here in the States. So there's no excuse for them when it comes to that either. So like both teams have the on paper stature and talent level that's needed to come out with that win. The difference was NWO showed up and played. You know what I mean? I loved what I saw. I think everybody did a really good job of incorporating themselves into this star-studded roster. I think being able to beat Count Up by 14 and scoring 80 plus points is a good sign for them because Count Up is known for typically holding teams to much less points, whether they win or lose. So NWO might be my second choice for finals appearance, and my first choice was Count Up. For now, it still is. I still believe Count Up with or without Blake Hinson. I know everybody's gonna say, "Oh, they got a G League player. They got a guy who's competing for roster spots in the NBA." That's why no. Like it's not about Blake Hinson. I'm on the same boat, with Tyler. I don't even trust that he is going to be able to be around. If he's here, he's gonna play because Blake does not turn down an opportunity to lace him up and play basketball. But he can't control whether he's gonna be here or not, right? Like Tyler said, there's going to be G League responsibilities. He's trying to get a shot in the NBA. He needs to be there. He needs to show up. There's going to be training camp opportunities that he might be able to pull together with the Warriors. There's going to be many things that can impact his ability to show up. It has nothing to do with that. I just think you add Kevin, you add Johnny. They did add other pieces, and hopefully, if people can attend and show up, Count Up looked great. So I genuinely did have them as a finals team. And if I had to bet, NWO might be my second choice for
gang,
that finals appearance. Now,
gang talk,
playoff
bro.
matchups matter, obviously, right? When they face off or if they face off does matter. So that could impact my take. But in regards to just capability and full potential, I actually do believe that that could be the finals matchup of the year. with other teams also being possible as well. I'm not saying they're the only ones, but that's what I have for now.
I see that. I see
Yeah,
that.
I do want to say, Roderick, he showed me something different in the Arsenal, and it's an intangible thing. Like he's a leader. I knew he was behind Melo, and Melo was his guy. So he kind of fell in line and let Melo be the vocal leader. But Roderick was very, very, very vocal this game. When it came to guarding Blake, when it came to
Yeah.
Blake guarding him, when it came to Jalen guarding him. I mean, they dropped 15 and 20 on each other. That was a little duel within itself. But regardless, I think Roderick is going to take a lot of things personal this season. He's lost a lot of weight. I don't know if you guys peeped. He lost about, it looks like 5 to 8 pounds, which helps a lot when you're jumping consistently. You might not think that, but it does help with jumping and being able to be more stamina heavy. So I think this season, I think we need to look at Roderick as an MVP player. I think without having to not fall in line and be the man of his team, which I think we can all agree he is the man of this team. I don't think it's AJ. I think AJ is still an MVP caliber player, but when it comes to personality, grit, I can see that this team is going to be one of the most grittiest teams in this league. And I think everybody on that team is going to show up. We have people like Suarez who takes accountability of being there. He's a professional. Thin through and thin. You have people like Tommy, who's played in a bunch of these leagues, who's also he played high school basketball. I mean, he played college basketball in Hawaii. Like you can throw him up there with being a semi-pro guy because at that level, you're damn near semi-pro. You get paid like a pro. He played in Hawaii. You have a lot of these pieces that if they get it rolling in games, it can get kind of scary from the 3 point line, from the mid range, even from the interior with AJ. Like it's a scary team, and if no one thinks NWO is not in the finals, you're crazy right now. I just they stack up well against every team. If it's a team with size, they can play big. If it's a team with guards, they can play with guards. You have Tommy, you have the other guy with locks who was also playing guard who started with Tommy. You have Berto who can switch off from a forward to a guard. They have so many different play styles they're going to be able to play. You can put AJ at the center and kind of put Roger kind of power forward position, and now you're a lot faster. They can do so many different things, which is going to be evident. And you have very high IQ players. Berto, Tommy. I know I keep saying the same names, but that is their offense pretty much. You have some high IQ level basketball guys on that team that aren't going to be really
Yeah.
spoken on, but we'll
You
see.
had you
You
had
forgot
Rod
about Bulb.
Bob Hall. He did. He was the guy with the dreads. I think that's who he's talking about.
Yeah, Bulb.
Oh, I
Bulb
didn't hear
held
that.
it down.
Bro,
He's a steady point guard.
Rod was calling out ISOs on multiple occasions against Blake. We had mentioned that we were
Yeah, he
watching the
was.
game. Like he was not afraid of that challenge. That's fun. That's fun basketball. We know Rod. Rod has a mentality like that attack mentality. He's gonna try to kill everything in front of him. That's always enjoyable basketball.
Yeah, I think Bulb is. I think Bulb. I said it on the broadcast. I think Bulb should be their starting point guard. I think he fits the role for them as a starting point guard. And I do think they should bring Tommy off the bench. I think that is what's best for their rotation. I think Tommy is a phenomenal shooter, one of the best in the league. He likes to score the basketball. So I think that contrast between him and Bulb would be ideal. Obviously, that's for me to petition Roberto Suarez in the starting lineup. That's what that was going to lead into, obviously. But I think anybody who knows Berto knows there's no realistic situation where he should be coming off the bench. That's just my personal opinion. And listen, we could debate it if we have to, but I don't believe he's the second best at any position in on this team, right? So he should be starting. I think that's what's best for their rotational purposes, though. I'm actually speaking from a basketball mindset. I believe it makes the most sense for them because Bulb's going to hold it down defensively. He's going to play make. He's also a very underrated scorer. Most people always rave about his defense because he is such a phenomenal defensive point guard in every league he's ever been on. Um, and they overlook the fact that Bulb can get buckets, and that's something that I've always been trying to tell people. Like, yeah, we could talk about his defense. Obviously, that is what he does, but he actually can get buckets. You know what I mean? Like, he reminds me a lot of Drew Holiday back in his heyday, where you are so mesmerized by how phenomenal of a defender Drew Holiday is, you forget like Drew Holiday was getting buckets with the best of
He's
them.
giving you
You know what I mean?
20.
Like Drew Holiday could score. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't him just out there, on the Patrick Beverly vibes. playing defense and just knocking down some corner threes. Like he can put the ball on the ground. He can create for his teammates. He can hit those shots. He can hit the mid range, and a shocking fact about Bo Paul, he can make difficult shots consistently. That's something that people don't realize either. He's a very good difficult shot maker. And that's always useful because so is AJ, because so is Rod, because so is Berto. So you're going to be in a clutch time situation where you have 4 players guaranteed, maybe 5 if you want to count Tommy. I don't see Tommy taking difficult shots often. I will say so. I don't want to include him just yet. Tommy proved me wrong. All right, but for now I won't. But those 4 guys in on the court in crunch time, it's like just just leave. You're gonna lose the game. Just leave.
Yeah.
One of them's gonna knock down whatever shot you give them because it's an array of difficult shot makers. So that's my suggestion to Coach Berger. You can take it however you want it. Bring Tommy off the bench. Start Berto. He's very comfortable with playing within a role. He does not need to force anything. He will take the shots where he finds them. He will attack. He will be aggressive. And I think Tommy coming off the bench is ideal because he can lead the playmaking for that second unit. He could be a scoring option when some of your scoring options are sitting down resting. That's my suggestion.
Yeah. You give Tommy a
how you
fresh
want
set
it,
of
man.
legs. You give Tommy the closing position too. You could still bring him in. I think you could still lead him in that position. Give some spacing for AJ. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I do gotta kind of counter what you're saying, Nas, because something I've noticed about this league is when they don't know you, you have to prove yourself. No matter what name you walk into this league with.
I love
It
it.
happened with Sorry on the first team. It happened with Berto on this team. It was a couple Serpents that didn't start, but made. I mean, I don't mean to glaze the Serpents either, but made a big impact within Kel Ware. We'll get there. I think it's more prove it to me, and a lot of these players proved it. I don't think it was. I think Berto at one point said, I looked in the mirror this morning. I couldn't even guard myself, and, and I was like,
So
yeah, you
lame.
got it. Like, he hit some tough turnaround shots. And I've known Berto, like I said, and I'm a big Berto fan, just like Nas. I've known Berto since he's been like 14, 15, and the player he's developed to. So at the end of the day, I think he's right where he needs to be off that bench, and I think he can come in and kind of create just as well as Tommy. He's a natural point. I think Tommy is a better 3-point shooter than Berto. And I also think Tommy can make the same kind of passes.
Ugh, no,
I
no,
think Tommy's a pretty good 3-point shooter, bro. I
I agree.
don't I haven't I
I
don't
agree. Two
recollect.
different statements, though.
I'm
You
gonna
just made two
side.
different
I'm gonna
statements.
side
I
with
don't
Pluto on this until
I
Berto
don't
shows
think
us.
Berto's a better 3-point shooter than Tommy.
Yeah.
I don't think
I'm
so.
not saying that I think Berto's a worse shooter than Tommy.
Catch
I'm
shoot,
talking
yeah, same.
specifically 3-point is specifically what I'm agreeing
Catch and shoot.
with Pluto here. I agree with him.
Yeah.
I disagree.
But shooting, I'm gonna give it to Berto because we've seen some ridiculous shots.
Yeah, but I think being a 3-point shooter and being a good shot maker are two different things. And that's where you even Nas had to kind of stop yourself with Tommy. I don't think Tommy's a difficult shot maker, but I do know he's a knockdown 3-point shooter in this league, and he's proved that. He shot over 40% last year.
3-point
Any
winner.
league he plays in, yeah, any league he plays in, he's known as a 3-point shooting threat, and I think that move was strictly on space for Drodrick, strictly on space for AJ, and you don't have 3 mouths you got to feed on the court at all times. Sometimes you need only 2 mouths and then one mouth to come in and finish the job, because at that point, you have too many offensive threats. Who's creating? And I think you guys told me the same thing with the Suns. When you have all these different offensive players, who's creating for these guys? And I think it's smart. I think Tommy's a good creator. I think Tommy's an above average passer. That's another thing he's proven as well. He can pass the ball. I think it works. I think it works really well off that off guard position and combo guard. And he's a pretty decent defender. I wouldn't say he's better than Berto, but Berto also isn't, you know, Mr. Straps himself. But, at times he can get it done. They both can.
I could see it either way.
Yeah, the last
But
part I do agree with. I think you don't want to have that much offensive threats on the court at the same time. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what I think about their shooting ability, Berto is gonna take a lot of tough shots. He's gonna take a lot of mid-range shots. So that part I do agree with. But it's just sign the petition if you want to in the comment section. Start Berto. Sign the petition if you want to. If you don't want to, it's fine. All I need is 100 signatures. You know, every like that we get in this video, that's gonna be one signature right there. All right.
We got the agreement for Burga, so actually this is official. We were DMing him earlier.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, Nas confirmed it. But I mean, ultimately though, we're talking about who's the second best shooter in the league here, because realistically, the best shooter of the night we saw in Game 3. Nas, what happened?
Great segue.
Oh yes, yes. Game 3 was phenomenal. We had a new chaser step on the court versus the reigning champs. Not fully rostered, unfortunately, but they've made some changes this year. Some of those players were not in attendance today, or I'm sorry, on Saturday, so we won't get a chance to really talk about them. Romelo Bates not in attendance. Willie Nunez not in attendance, who, if anybody remembers, played for UGK last year, phenomenal scorer in this league. And as well as Keith. I do forget his last name. I apologize. His name is not on the roster because he wasn't available to play. But phenomenal big man with a lot of seasoned professional basketball. Actually won a championship in Puerto Rico. Fun fact. But other than that, I think the games got slightly underwhelming when it came to matchups. At this point, I think those first two games were the matchups that were really the most exciting from a talent level. And I think the games got a little underwhelming. You know, I promised everybody I was going to be honest and tell the truth where it is. And I was a little underwhelmed with the last two games. But luckily, Game 3, despite my woes with the talent that was presented, Luke Doyle decided to lift my spirits and hype me the fuck up. Because let me tell you, Luke Doyle is a fucking menace to society. That's how I'm going to describe it. He needs to be put in prison. I tried to tell the authorities that there was a M word occurring at Croom's Academy. I don't want YouTube to flag us. An M word occurring. An unalivement of human beings was occurring from beyond the arc. And let me tell you, man, Luke Doyle hit 9 threes. Hit us up on Instagram, man, at atleta.com. I'm sorry, at atleta.sports. We don't have a website yet. We will soon, though. Stay tuned. At atleta.sports on Instagram, man. Check out the highlights. For some reason, we only have 8 of the 9 threes, but that's fine. Those were the 8 best out of the 9 anyway. Go check him out. That man was on fire. That man could not miss. At one point, Luke Doyle, ladies and gentlemen, hit 7 threes in a row. Now, there was a break, I believe, either timeout or end of quarter. I don't remember, but there was a break in between 4 and the last 3. But those 7 threes he took, he did not miss. I want to make sure you understand.
No. He only hit 4 in a row. He hit 4 straight and then he missed. I promise. I recorded.
So maybe that was the break I'm remembering, then, the miss.
Yeah,
So that's probably the break that I'm remembering. He missed
4
the shot
straight is
and
still
then
insane. 4 straight is insane.
We apparently the actual record for threes in the GM5 is much larger than anticipated. So he was a bit far off. He needed 4 more to break that record, which is a lot in a running clock world. So I was disappointed. I thought we were about to witness history, but we did witness history regardless. He hit 4, but it feels like 10. Like, it felt like he was just raining them down because he was just pulling up. It's like, I'm just like, 4 isn't even enough for you to be like, I'm not missing today. You know what I mean? But he was shooting them like he wasn't missing today. You get what I mean? In a running clock,
I felt like he wasn't missing it.
Yeah, it's like it's insane. Listen, I won't glaze too much. That's the last thing I'll say, man. I tried to get him convicted. He unalived human beings over there. The cops would not listen to me, and he just continued to shoot him. And I'm sorry to Dream Chasers that you had to witness that. I'm sure you guys are still having nightmares. But listen, next time, you know, somebody has to guard.
Listen,
you know what I mean? Like,
Dream Chasers,
go over the screen, bro. Go over the screen.
No,
like, what the hell?
The Dream Chasers showed up to chase some dreams, and all they had was a nightmare, and that nightmare was Luke Doyle. Luke Doyle.
Yeah.
The only points that Luke Doyle scored outside of threes were 2 free throws that he had, and he had 29 points. To give you an idea of how ridiculous he was. And like they were guarding him, so pretending like they weren't guarding him is crazy. Only 2 or 3 of those were completely wide open, and I think a few of those he missed. There was hands in his face. He was getting doubled. He was getting trapped. It didn't matter, bro. He could not miss. And then you also have Terrell Christian, who is also going crazy. You have Fillmore, who is facilitating everything. He was getting his own buckets. What do you do? And then Dream Chasers.
Nothing.
I gotta be realistic. They did come in a little weak. I don't think they have their full roster because isn't Bouncy Bra on their team? I saw him there, but he didn't. He didn't show up, or he didn't get.
He is on the roster. He might be hurt or something.
Okay, yeah. So maybe they're going to be a little better next week. They weren't fully there. I did like some things I saw for them though. That block by Kel was really nice. Milton, I think he's always going to show up. I think he's going to be great. So I think that team will, improve. But
I know.
My thing about it though, before you go, is like we're talking about this massacre of a game, and they don't have Melo, they don't have Willie, they don't have Keith. You know what I mean? So what's gonna happen? Like on the bench is, and I said it on the broadcast. This is not anything against Rod. My take that I'm about to have has nothing to do with Rod. It's not about Rod leaving or being there. That has nothing to do with it. So Rod, don't chew me out for this. But I do genuinely believe a full rostered OTB this season is a better squad than a full rostered OTB last season. And I'm not considering Tim in that equation because Tim left pretty early. So I'm not considering Tim in that equation. If you consider Tim, now we have a debate. Now it's a far more open now. But without Tim being a part of the equation, with the big man, I forget his name, I apologize, but he had a great performance in the finals.
Spencer.
Without him, because he wasn't there often either. With the pieces that they had, they weren't there. If I look at this roster that they have on paper, and if they were to show up, I'm pretty positive Josh Fillmore will, because that man loves to hoop. I've seen him everywhere. Also a member of Squad X back in the day. If they're showing up, I genuinely do believe a fully rostered OTB this season is better than a fully rostered OTB last season. I do genuinely believe that.
There's arguments.
I don't know. I would. I don't
You
think.
also are not familiar with the players they have. So once you see them,
also,
you
yeah,
will check
It's
it
not
out.
even a knock on Rod at that point. They added a lot.
Yeah. I think getting off Rod and they added Tariq. I think Tariq is, or not Tariq, Terrell Christian. I think that's a sneaky pickup.
Yeah.
You have someone who can run the pick and roll with Melo once Melo comes back. Another guy, I mean, their unsung hero. I know Luke Doyle did what Luke Doyle does and torch things up and turns into the Human Torch and just flame on. But that point guard that they had filling in for Melo that 1 week, his last name's Adkins. Um, Keep in mind, he's like 5'6", and he had 9 rebounds. He had 7 assists and 3 steals, and he still was able to put up 8 points. You put Melo in that same position, and it's no offense to Mr. Atkins. I've seen what Melo can do. I think you double those stats, and you have a different team. And I think this team's a lot different. This team's more of Melo's pace. I know we didn't get to see them play with Melo, but that extra pass, I think Terrell can make that extra pass. I don't think Terrell's selfish. I kind of said jokingly, Terrell, you feel a little bit more free now that you don't have Suko. And he started laughing, but it wasn't in a sense to take away from Suko because we both think he's amazing. I think it's more so Terrell can do his thing. I think Terrell can be free and be the big man that he can in this league. And I think he has the ability to be a top 5 big man in this league if he really puts his mind to it. So hopefully, he can do that. He stays healthy because he ran into that issue. Terrell Christian, I think he could be a top 5 player.
Oh,
Top
I
5
agree.
big man.
I don't think he's a big man, though.
Not player. I think he's a wing. I think he's a power
Yeah, he's
forward.
a 4. He's definitely a 4.
Yeah, I think he could be at least, if not a top 3 power forward in this league. Let me just break it down to that. He can score with the best of them. He can hit inside. He can get to the basket. He can create off the dribble. I don't think a lot of big men in this league are doing that, even though the big men in this league are really small forwards. But at the end of the day, I think those additions, and then I got to see a little bit of what Nas talks about in Fillmore. Some of that Monte-esque game where he can speed it up, slow it down, and speed it up again. I like on the bench, but I think we need to talk about the team that's got what on the bench gave him. And I felt like a lot of the times the Dream Chasers, they're trying to run their offense through their big man. And I'm thinking that guy, his name is Milt. I may have the name wrong or the player
Nah.
wrong. No.
Milt's
Milt's
there.
not a big man.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. It's the big dude. Their point. They're pretty much their center who's bringing the ball up and running as point. I don't think that's gonna work. I think they need to establish an actual guard, full time position who can move the ball, or
I mean,
someone who can move the ball a little better.
I didn't see anybody that was bigger than Kel. So are you talking about Kel?
I guess I'm talking about Kel. It's not. No, no, no. It wasn't Kel. It was their power
Because they
forward
even had Jalen
with the
Merritt
locks.
at some point. He was handling the ball too.
Nah, it wasn't Jalen. I think
Oh,
it
you
might
might
have
be
been
talking
Dave
about Dane. You
Thompson.
might be talking about Dane Thompson, but
Dave
yeah, I
Thompson.
mean
Yeah.
Kel was their big man. Dane's probably the only other person big enough to be considered a big man.
So it's Dane. Yeah, Dane, give the ball to the guards and let them create. And maybe you can do a little bit more off that, like high post. I'm also not the most familiar with your game because last year you didn't really play the most. And it's no shade against you. I think it was just the team you were on. But yeah, I definitely think that the ball should be more handled by the guards and start the offense started up by the guards than you.
Yeah, I like it.
I think that kind of. Go ahead.
My bad, my bad. I thought you were done. My bad.
No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm good.
Oh, Jalen showed out. Jalen showed up kind of late. It looked like I don't think I saw him at the very beginning. Done on a ESPN, Jalen. But when he did show up, I mean, he gave us 18. He had a clean layup that looked like he was going to completely dunk that. But I'm going to be realistic. I think that the Dream Chasers issue is going to come to their size. They don't have a true big that I really remember, and maybe I missaw. And I know Bouncy's not going to be that much bigger. He's kind of like a wing for them. So you kind of have, those smaller kind of wiry wings that are kind of going up like a bunch of big forwards. Like you're going up against Team Prey eventually. They're just a bunch of big bodies. They're like 6'7", 6'5", just men. Just big ass men is the best way to put it. Those are men. You got they go into like these other teams at like what are they gonna do? They don't have a lot of great shooting. They don't have a lot of great facilitation. Rim defense is kind of a place that we saw. They had two nice clean blocks by Kel. They were protecting the rim pretty well, but outside of that, I don't know.
Yeah, I will
I'm with
say,
you as well.
it was announced that they're gonna add Teron Hugh, or hopefully I'm pronouncing his first and last name correctly. Who he's a valid point guard for sure. I don't believe Jalen Merritt's play style should have him be your lead guard. I think his play style is ideal for coming off the bench, and I think it showed last season. I think Turon, however, his play style is ideal to be your lead guard. Now, I'm not saying the point guard position is what's going to fix everything for them, but it definitely can make a difference in some areas. I do agree with Tyler, though. They're going to have to, figure out a way to improve on their size one way or another. And I keep mentioning it, man, but I mean, when y'all see Keith, y'all going to understand this league's going to have to get bigger. This league's going to have to get bigger because that man led, multiple overseas leagues in rebounding. I'm talking about overseas leagues. So, Dream Chasers is maybe no, they're I'd say they're what the second smallest team, or are they the smallest? Are they smaller than Lions? That's the question.
I think they are because
Are they?
Lions, they're all pretty much about the same height, and that's really where they
Yeah.
kind of they have a lot of switchability because they're all around like 6'4".
So that's
Yeah,
not good because the Lions don't have a lot of size. Now they're adding size. They did trade for Mark Russell, or Marcus Russell. I apologize. Mark is a nickname for Marcus anyway. And then Aaron Mims, I think I heard should be back by next season or by this week. I apologize. So that they do have some size. So yeah, I think you are right. I think the Dream Chasers are overall smaller than what you call it than the Lions. So that's gonna be something that they need to look for soon. I don't know what their roster size looks like. I think they used their open spot on bringing Turon into the fold. So, I mean, hey, GM5 is big on trades. GM5 is big on cutting and picking up. So, if that's what needs to happen, I do think that you showed some good things. So maybe adding that size could potentially create some sort of difference maker for you guys. Maybe.
I may have heard some rumblings that they are interested in a center. Um, maybe some reports that they were looking at some
Mhm.
teams, such as Team Prey and their surplus of bigs.
They
Yeah,
have a lot of big.
that could be something to consider as well. Yeah, I like that. But we'll see, man. Dream Chasers definitely left a lot to be desired, I would say. But I do believe in Kel. I think Kel can be a great player in this league when he sets his mind to it. But I don't think he's at his most comfortable when he has to be a big man. That's just my experience with Kel. I can tell you from him playing on the Serpents, I always looked to find a way to get him into that three spot. That was always my goal. But based on this, he's 6'6". He can, he can get above the rim. He plays great defense. He's one of the best hustle players we've ever had on the Serpents. So all that does kind of lead to you'd be perfect for center. You know what I mean? And it's like it's unfortunate for him because it puts him in an uncomfortable spot. But he does his job. He rebounded, he blocked shots, he did his job. But try to switch him over to the four, find yourself some size at the five, and maybe Turon coming in, Jalen coming off the bench. Now you got yourself something interesting. You know what I mean? Now you got yourself something that you could surprise some teams at that point. But all it takes is that tweak of adding some size, in my opinion, and in Tyler's opinion, and I agree with him.
Shout out to Tyler.
Shout out to Chris, though. But moving on
Shout
to
out
the
to
last,
Chris.
moving on to the last
Fuck
game of the
y'all.
night or the morning. I keep saying night. These games are bright and early, ladies and gentlemen. We have oh nope, I put upcoming games. My bad. Last game was Vipers versus the Lions, which you just mentioned briefly there. Vipers, I believe, are a team that has participated in the GM5 in the past. I know they have their association to UGK, so a lot of those Vipers players always end up on the UGK rosters. All those UGK players always end up on the Vipers rosters. They have some sort of association there to each other. But this time we got the Vipers brand in the GM5 and Ox League Originals, Lions Perception, gentlemen, have decided to transfer over to the GM5 as well and bring some of their best players from the Ox League onto their roster. What do you guys think about that game?
Oh,
What did you see? What were the ups and downs in your perspective?
bro, Zuldo started off that game like fucking nothing. I don't think he was hitting any shots for the first two quarters. Third quarter comes around, he gets postered by Pringle. He's like, watch this. I don't think that man missed a shot after that poster. And every single
He went
time
crazy.
he's hitting threes, he's looking over at the Lions bench every single time. He went crazy. And I think it really helped out because that entire roster just kind of showed up in a really good way for them. Jose also, he played fantastic for them. Kind of played like their point guard role. I think he kind of orchestrated their entire offense. Liam Davis showing out. Someone, when you have a stretch big, especially when it's a five, and you're actually taking their other center out of the paint, like he's consistently hitting that three. It was perfect for them. Hosea, Jeriel, whoever was kind of playing that position was never really able to guard the paint at all. He was constantly stretching, which opened it up for everybody to just drive in, and they were. But I really do think the standouts for that game were definitely Jose and Izuldo. They showed out. Lions, I think they got a lot to work on. I think number one, you really cannot be chirping at the ref that often. You kind of have to bring that back. I know it was kind of dealt with on the sideline, but like, man, you just gotta like put your head down and just get right back into the game. Like they were slouching a lot. They were very upset at the calls, and we've seen that a few times from them. So this is kind of like a consistent thing now. Just get back in the game. Just play. On to the next play. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I do want to give them some grace. This is an Ox League affiliated team. So this team is a conglomerate of Ox League players that they thought were great enough to build a roster to go in the GM5. So I think a lot of things weren't at their advantage. A running clock, refs they're not used to or have no relationship with. Because a lot of these teams have players who can come back and talk to the refs and have a relationship with them, to where it's like it's more of a mutual thing than it's like I don't know who you are. I'm just refing this game,
Yeah.
and you kind of notice that between ref and Hosea. Hosea, I'm gonna let you know these refs will talk shit back. They still hoop. They will still put them shoes on and bust your ass. I just wanted to state that these are hoopers more than refs. So regardless, and I know we were kind of picking on it, Jose. We don't pick on anybody. We don't sit here and talk nonsense. We actually talk about not talking about crazy shit, and I kind of reeled my crazy shit in too. Because at the end of the day, we want to give you guys a fair assessment of what we see. So we aren't just trying to pick you guys apart and put you guys down. I think there was a lot of things to the offense that need to change, but that comes within time. They had three players that are good players that didn't play: Keaton Smith, Daniel Tavares, Mims, Marcus Russell. They got some key players that didn't play. So I think the growing pains of being in a new league with a new style, it's gonna come. It comes with what learning something new, but this was all Vipers. The last game yesterday was all Vipers. When it came to the game plan, the sets they ran, their big man being able to stretch, take away the presence inside to where now Zuldo can operate inside, Jose can get inside the basket. Anthony Rice could come off that bench and kind of do his thing and then play good defense and hit key 3-point shots. It's just at the end of the day, it makes
He's
sense.
a starter.
Everything about that team, huh?
He's a starter.
I didn't know he started. My
Wait,
bad,
who?
Rice. But
Oh.
Rice, I didn't know Rice
Oh
was a starter.
man.
No, I didn't. I thought he came off the bench. I'm pretty sure because he was
No, he
late.
started.
He started. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm wrong. My bad. Regardless, having Rice and Liam come, two big men who can stretch the floor, that opens up lanes for your guards to get to the basket. So, yeah, all shout out to the Vipers on this one. This was it might look like two players only really did the work, but it really was a team effort on defense, and that's really where they did their thing on was on defense. There was at least three players with two steals. That's big. That's real big.
This is an underrated team, I think. I
Yeah.
think underrated, at least from my perspective, I guess I'll say. I won't even say they're underrated because I think they've been around this GM5 community for a long time. These players know exactly who they're going up against. They know who Jose is. They know who Zuldo is. They sure as hell know who Zuldo is because Zuldo's been giving GM5 guards buckets for years. You know what I mean? So, like, they know who Zuldo is. They know who Liam is, who Ant is. So maybe they're not underrated. Underrated from my perspective just based on some of these rosters and what they look like on paper. But I'm willing to bet we're gonna have every week we're gonna talk about who do we have winning next week and who's our picks for this and who's our picks for that. I'm willing to bet Vipers are going. We're gonna outvote the Vipers and say they're gonna lose a game and they're gonna shock us and they're gonna win that game. I bet that's gonna happen more than once because I think they have what it takes. Jose played phenomenal, but I don't even believe that is the best Jose can play. Believe it or not, I think Jose is even better than that. I think you could argue Jose could be a better player than Zuldo. You could argue the vice versa. I wouldn't mind either side of the argument. But I think that guard tandem or wing tandem, however you want to look at it, is going to be deadly. I think Liam's going to have a lot of games where he's going to knock down a lot of threes because he loves to shoot it, and that's a weapon to have at the five position. And I think Ant is just a force. You know what I mean? He's just a
Yeah.
rebounding monster defensively. He just guards every player he can possibly lay his eyes on at all times. He's just going to guard them. It's a team that's going to surprise somebody. In 5 or 6 weeks, when we see these records and we see who looks like the top team, they're going to run into the Vipers and they're going to lose. I'm calling it right now. I don't know who that's going to be, but 5 to 6 weeks from now, let's look at those standings. And I bet you one of those top two, three teams, if it's not already the Vipers, they're going to lose to the Vipers at some point during the season. I'm willing to bet that's going to be a narrative of this year.
I expect them to be up there. Remember, it's not a complete recreation of UGK, but there's some similarities with some players. They were a top team before they were no longer in the GM5. They were up there. And Zildo had like a 30-point performance immediately out the gate. He starts this season with almost the same. 26, 8, and 8. They're gonna be a very good team. They're gonna be a team that's slept on by like casual fans that aren't really into the GM5. But I think people that actually know these players are going to recognize like, no, this might be another finals team. This is a team that we're going to see at the end of the season that is really going to be competing. And as they go on, as they continue to add more, as like Ant starts to figure out his game shooting, because we saw at the end of last season, he kind of built that into his game. If he continues that this season, bro, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to happen with this team. My goal, my hope for this season, I would absolutely love this. I would love to see if Ant gets a triple double. I would challenge him to do that because I think that this is a roster that he could absolutely do that. He could be their Draymond, and I think it would be
I
perfect.
agree. I agree. I could see that for sure. But to wrap up our day, man, let's talk about week 2 of the GM5. We got 4 more matchups. City Ballers is a ninth team in participation this year, but they had the first bye of the season was given to City Ballers. They're gonna face off against the Vipers. We'll get to them in a
Shout out to
second.
my boy Phil.
We're gonna get to them in a second, man. Week 2, first game of the day is gonna be Team Prey versus Dream Chasers. I'll go first for this one. I think, unfortunately, Dream Chasers starts the season 0-2. I got Team Prey taking this one home.
Wait, do we wanna put anything down on this at all? Do we want to hold these bets? Any sort of parlays? Or are we scared?
For each individual game.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or what about we do a
yeah.
game of the day? How about that? One game where we put something on, and anyone could join us.
yeah, I think the game of the day is probably Park Legends versus New West Orlando.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah, let's go. We could put something on it. We could put something on it when we get to that. That's the fourth game of the day, so we'll get to that at the
We'll
end.
come back to that then.
Yeah, so yeah, I got Team Prey taking it home for week 2 though.
Me too.
Me three.
There you go, clean sweep. Dream Chasers, prove us wrong, man. You know, Kel, I'm always gonna support you, man. So prove us wrong. Count Up versus Lions Perception. Another team that I believe will start the season 0-2. I think Count Up takes this home.
It's funny because you could have said either team.
Yeah.
Realistically,
Oh, true. Yeah.
You really could have.
I've
But
count up.
go ahead. Yeah, I've
Except
Count
for the
Up.
last matchup too. Actually, I just realized. But go ahead. Yeah, Count Up, and you say Count Up too, Tyler.
Yeah, Lions had to prove it. We haven't seen their full roster. I'm going to be very interested once Keaton starts playing. I think that's going to help them out a lot, especially on the boards, especially with size.
Yeah, I do think full roster, they're definitely going to compete much better for sure. So I'm also interested, but until I see it, I can't really do nothing about it. So yeah, I got Count Up, and then we got City Ballers making their GM5 2020 debut, ladies and gentlemen. Very similar roster to last season, if not damn near identical. They did had Foots from OJR. For you guys who may not be familiar, they also added David Butler, who you guys are probably not familiar with, but a very common big man in this local basketball scene. Plays in a lot of money tournaments. He plays with Patrick Yolo often, so very good big man. He's about 6'8", 6'9", so they added some great size to that team, and he is a traditional big man for this landscape. He likes to play in the post, rim protect, rebound, all that good stuff. So very good additions. If you remember Foots can score. Foots can score. I would love to see Foots in a 6-man role for this team. And you add David Butler, City Ballers does look much better than they did last season. So I want to put that out there so you can make your decisions wisely. City Ballers versus Vipers. Just because we haven't seen it, I'm not going to give them the credit yet. I'm not saying City Ballers looks bad. I'm not saying City Ballers can't get it done. But I haven't seen it yet. So based on what I have seen, I'm taking the team that just won a game by 40. I'm taking the Vipers.
Quick question, off topic. Does City Ballers have the most nicknames out of any roster? Because you got Kenny Chef,
they got
Spark,
they got Trap.
There's a few.
Yeah, they got Foots.
All right, but
Yeah, they got a
for,
lot.
for my vote, I want to say Vipers, but Marquitas promised me if I went with City Ballers, he would put me on one of his skits. So I'm gonna go City Ballers. Yeah.
That's crazy. What's that called? Extortion? That's crazy.
Something like that.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, if it's the same City Ballers team, I think a lot of their games were decided at the end of the games. A lot of them were. So, I mean, if we're gonna go with where luck goes and what they have and the continuity of their team, keeping it the same, I'll go City Ballers. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, I will say that.
All right,
We did
well.
talk about City Ballers, but remember, we went in and we dove in. They were losing their games by like 1 to 3 points on average. It wasn't like blowouts when they were losing a lot. Keep that in mind. Those are free
Yeah, I don't think
throws.
City Ballers is the same team at all. I think they've gotten better. I think adding Foots is a big deal for them. Adding David Butler is a big deal for them. Hopefully, this full roster shows up. Spark is a very underrated player. I like him off the bench. He really does, no pun intended, bring a spark to the court whenever he steps on. And a lot of intensity. I like them, but it's a matter of I haven't seen them in GM5 this year, so I can't just give it to them just because. And I literally just talked about the Vipers being one of the most underrated teams available. So like, I got to go with Vipers. So Phil, don't kill me, man. I do think you guys look great though. I genuinely do believe that. I love the addition of David Butler. I'm sorry for saying that so often, but I love that addition. Last but not least, the parlay of the week. We got Park Legends versus West Orlando. This is tough. I think Park Legends looks great. I think New West Orlando looks great, if not greater. Um, uh,
Listen, I'll
just
tell
because
you.
they struggled.
I'm going NWO.
Go ahead.
This is easy. I'm picking NWO. Park
Is it?
Legends has to show me. NWO is a top spot right now. Tommy came up in my face and he told me that this is the number one team. He asked me, "Are we better than Park Legends?" I said, "Yeah, I think he is." He asked me.
He did. I
Yeah,
remember that.
everybody.
What is he gonna do? Am I gonna be a liar right now? I'm not gonna
I
lie.
remember that.
You said it too. All of us said it. NWO.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree. Because Park Legends was only able to come ahead of Team Prey by 1 point, and of course my dog Birdo is on NWO. I gotta go NWO too, man. If Pluto has Park Legends, then I got 10 on NWO right here right now. If you don't, then I guess there's nobody to bet against.
There is no one to bet.
Wait,
against.
I'll
I
take
guess
that
we're
bet.
just
City
on
Ballers
the
and
board.
Vipers though. I'll take that bet.
I like City Ballers.
I got Vipers. For real though, I lied about the Marquitas thing. He didn't invite me, but if you do invite me,
Oh, I also got Vipers though.
but me and Pluto, he got City Ballers. Pluto, I got you.
I got City Ballers.
20?
20 at 10 apiece. So 10 from you, 10 from you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Or
And if anyone wants to
22.
join in on this, you know where to find us. We're always on the sidelines.
But that doesn't that also mean if you lose, you have to give 20?
No, 10
no,
apiece.
10 each. So everyone's only giving 10 each. But he's
Yeah.
giving 20 because he's giving 10 to us twice.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 10 for you, and then 10 for Tyler.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I
But we
just
are
want to make
talking
sure.
about Monopoly money, guys, right? That Monopoly money. That's what we're
Yeah,
talking
we live in
about.
the state of Florida. You know how their legal their gambling laws are. Legal, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's get
Yeah,
on.
let's just
Let's get on.
What about Legends and NWO, man? Who you got, Pluto?
I got NWO. I think they're the most dominant team right now, from the guard to the wing to the center position.
Listen, I apologize, TP, but that's a 3-0 sweep, man. Listen, we still want to do the All-Star game. I know you're watching this. You haven't texted me from the games, and I said it every fucking game. Text me when you see this. That means you haven't seen it. The audio was messed up, so maybe you couldn't understand me.
Nas is like a drunk.
Nas-
Nas is like a drunk
Nas-
ex.
All-Star
Nas is like
game.
a drunk ex right now, trying to get her man back. Please,
But now-
answer me.
Now everything's fixed. Everything's ready to go. You should hear this audio when you hear this podcast. TP Atleta wants to host the All-Star game. We'll handle the uniforms. We'll handle the gym. We'll handle everything. It's our show with your players. That's it. Let us do a GM5 All-Star game. Let us do it right. When you see this, text me. Let's do it. And I'll know what you're talking about.
We already have it planned
all right?
out.
This is the 5th time I've said this. If you haven't heard the last 4, you better have heard this one, or I'm quitting. I'm not. I need the money. I'm broke. Dead broke if you watch the
Yeah,
broadcast.
it's okay, TP. He would be voted out very fast. Don't worry about it.
Well, considering. Either way, let's not get into it. But, I think that's all we have. Unless you guys had something extra about the GM5 that we wanted to mention, man. I think first podcast being solely GM5 is very, what's the word? Correct. Very feels right. I think that's all GM5 talk we have. You guys have anything
Wait,
extra?
I got one question. I was promised, and I was very excited for concessions. I'm a fat guy. Like I'm supposed to eat. I was there for a couple hours. What happened? I was excited. We need to figure that out. We got to figure that out.
I think somebody came at the end. I feel like I saw somebody selling
He
food
got
there.
there at 12
By that
o'clock,
point, I had pizza,
but yeah,
Yeah, true.
which was great.
She got there
Shout
at
out
12.
GM5 for the pizza, man.
Yeah.
Listen, shout out
Um,
GM5 for having us. Let's not ponder on this too long, man. Get your shit together. Let's get that concession going next week because we are going to buy stuff. That is a guarantee. Shout out to GM5 for having us for season. I believe this is season 5. Once again, comment section. Correct me if
Season
I'm
5
wrong.
of the
Season
GM5.
5, year 2025, man. Shout out for them for having us. We're gonna talk about y'all a lot. Make sure you give us the highlights to talk about. Make sure you give us the lowlights to talk about because I need some of those, man. I need to stir the pot. Make sure you do whatever whatever it takes to make sure you are the most talked about topic in Central Florida because we're gonna help you get there. But we're done. Hoop Talk is out.